In today's video, I couldn't be any more excited to have Dominic Casey here with me here in Dallas for the final delivery of my second pair of shoes from him. I'm Kirby Allison, and I love helping the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes. Join me as we explore the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Dominic, hey, thank you so much for coming to Dallas. You know, probably one of my favorite shoemakers, Dominic Casey from London. And we have a very special delivery here. It's the second pair of shoes you made for me. We made some adjustments after the first ones, and we decided to use that as an opportunity to do something a little bit different and make them in suede as a semi-brogue. And we filmed the fitting video, which you guys have all seen. And so here we are. You've made them up. You've finished them off. And you just finished. You do a last making course.
Yes. So I've just been teaching and working in New York for the last couple of weeks, and down here for the day.
Yeah,
to see
that's
you
great. Yeah.
Deliver the shoes.
Yeah, well, exciting.
Here.
I can't wait to see them. So you've got
they're all in here.
Your special satchel. Yes. This is Dominic's delivery satchel that you made yourself.
Yes. So it's based upon that, as we talked about it before, the sort of 1930s shoemaking bag.
Well, I couldn't be any more excited because normally these final deliveries we do without the shoemaker because they, we'll film the fittings and then they send us the shoes. But to be able to do this with you here is really special. So thanks for coming down for that.
Well, it's a real pleasure, and it's always great fun.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well,
talking shoes, trying them on.
Good company, great shoes.
Yeah.
What more could one ask
so
for?
just out of interest, I've changed the bags. That I've started to make a new and different type of bag because
matches the bag. So this is all on
well, exactly. This is where it came from. When I made this sample bag, they've got some really resilient suede leather covers to protect the sample shoes. Yeah, so it's a pigskin suede.
Okay, that's what I thought. It looked like pigskin.
Yeah, it's a pigskin suede, so it's got a real nice.
Have you ever done shoes like pigskin suede?
Not out of the pigskin suede, no.
But I guess you could, right?
Just pigskin, but not out of the suede. Yeah, I guess you could, yeah.
Interesting.
So it just makes a really resilient bag. Because the way I was thinking about it, people are not really going to keep the boxes.
Yeah.
But, when we're all traveling,
everyone
you want to
the boxes away.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to get the bag and just put it in your luggage and stuff like that. So
a shoe bag
changed the bags.
A shoe bag is so important because it is what protects the shoe during travel.
Exactly.
And on our bags, we actually have them made out of really plush cotton in order to help protect and buffer the shoe against any type of dinging. And actually, one of my favorite things to do in traveling is to double bag my shoes.
Yes.
Because even if you have a slightly thin shoe bag, double bagging them, really gives them the protection they need.
So I'm hoping this for the clients is really going to help.
Yeah, no, this is beautiful, and I love this. You'll do it in green?
Yes. Well, no, they come. I've actually bought a whole load of different colours, so you can actually select the colour of your
choice.
I just didn't give you the choice.
Yes. Well, this is the choice. This is the colour I would have chosen anyway.
Right.
So, yeah.
I thought so because it's the same one that came out of the bag.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's beautiful. So this is the moment.
So this is the moment.
All right. Well,
fingers crossed. Deep breath.
And here they are. Beautiful. So this is suede.
Yes.
It's a beautiful kind of brown. I mean, it's a gorgeous color.
The thing is, the way that I actually cut the shoe is that the nap of the suede runs all the way from the front to the back. So classically, you should always cut a suede shoe so it runs in one direction there. Exactly, and the way you put the toe down there, it runs in the opposite direction.
Okay.
On the opposite way. So you can actually run it up in one direction and get one texture, and it comes down in the other direction.
And that's a little bit different than the way that you would cut calfskin, where you would, you would orient the pattern pieces on the leather in order to get, avoid any blemishes. But for suede, you do that also, but you also have to have it all oriented.
Yes, exactly. So it all lines up so that it actually runs all the way front to back, so that when you actually brush it and clean it, it runs up in that direction there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So,
and we've done a few other things for you. I know you like to have a nice number of stitches around the sole, so we've got
one of those bespoke details.
One of those bespoke details, as you said, yes. So we've got a nice close stitch around the sole there.
And what's the SPI on the stitches?
Those are 15 to the inch, yes.
That's amazing.
So that's 15.
And a normal ready-to-wear shoe is like 8 to 10 if you're lucky.
8 to 10 if you're lucky, yes.
I think Alan Edmonds is like 4.
Yeah. And a lot of bespoke is 12.
12,
so this is 15, and it just gives it that finer detail running around the edge here.
And traditionally, less formal the shoe, like a boot, you would decrease the stitch density in order to use a thicker thread.
Exactly, and you'd want it to look a bit more substantial, especially if you're making a kind of country boot that you're going to be bashing about in. This 15 to the inch
is
really
one of your
kind
specialties,
of an urban
country
look.
boots.
Yes, but this is a kind of more of an urban look. It's a city look for your nice casual shoes. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
And then it's got the other things. It's got the things that we always talk about. It's got the lovely beveled heel here. So the heel is designed to cut in and follow the last all the way round, so it makes a small heel sitting nicely cupped on the back there. We've got the seamless back for you, which you like, and yeah.
And what was your inspiration? I mean, so we've got, again, the signature
Kirby Allison toe, yes. So it's not so visible on a suede because a suede absorbs all of the light, so you can't get the shine on it. But it's essentially the same idea that we talked about before, straight sides, balanced symmetrical toe with a high spot right in the middle of the toe up there as well. So it's actually got some height. The thing is that kind of detail gets a bit lost on the suede because the light gets absorbed down into it.
And so it's a vertical, it's got like a vertical dimension to it also.
So
which is a really more difficult toe to make.
Yeah, really difficult. So it's high here and then it skips off to the side. So it's rolling in quite a number of different planes.
Yeah.
And really straight on the side because that gives it that kind of elegant look.
Yeah.
Rather than having that soft bowing.
And some of the shoemakers will say, of course, it's all hearsay, but will say that the more square, kind of flat, chiseled toe was actually a shortcut that last makers used back a long time ago. You know, the amount of work that goes into the three-dimensionality of this shape took a lot of time, and so if you just flatten it out on the top and the sides, you know, in some ways, I mean, it's a stylish toe, but from a purely technical bespoke standpoint, it's a less difficult toe to make.
Exactly.
So, I mean, nailing this is...
Yeah. You know. And what we'll also see, when the trees come out, you'll see that the toe shape actually on the tree, which is a reflection of your last, is different and smaller from the toe shape here. Yeah. Because we've got the vamp leather coming over here, we've got the toe cap leather, we've got a lining leather, and we've got a toe puff as well. So there's 4 layers of material making that. So to actually get it to look like that shape and balance with the sides, we've actually got to make that last a lot slimmer. So the tree will look a lot slimmer through there.
And then again, you know, beautiful kind of narrow waist. I mean, great arch support, it looks like.
Yeah, it's really cutting underneath through the sides here. And I just like the classic brown sole. If you're on a suede shoe, it just needs to be the sort of classic brown, I think.
Versus on the black pair you had a little bit of...
Yes, exactly. So you'd usually stain the waist on a black shoe, but the brown is just nice to keep it
I love this heel.
Look at so the heel is just cut under, so it just follows
and
the
there's
shape
also,
along
I mean,
the back.
as a bespoke shoemaker, I mean, it follows the line of the shoe, but isn't it also supposed to pitch in and down a little bit?
It's clipping in and down. So if you actually look at the profile, you can actually see that it comes in this way and cuts in on the corner.
And you're doing that, I mean, with glass, right? Are you?
Yeah, that's just glass and sandpaper and a rasp, really.
Really?
Yeah, rasp. Yeah,
amazing.
So just sanded away.
And what was the history of that? I mean, is that just aesthetics?
I think it's just aesthetics. I think it's a different idea in that actually, I mean, many ready-to-wear shoes, what they do is they cut the heels square. So in a way, it can look a little bit bulky. On a bespoke shoe, you know, when you kind of cross your legs and you look at this inside shape here, you really want to see a small heel which is hugging the shape of the shoe. So that it's a kind of a finesse thing as much as anything else, I think.
Yeah, and a beautiful kind of sculpted look. So let's, of course, take a look at the matching brother. I really do like these shoe bags. I mean, you've got your name right here.
And the other thing is I put a tag on just in case, so that's the colour.
This is the dragon's tail.
The dragon's tail. The dragon's tail tag is telling you what colour's in your shoe bag.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Just in case you have a few others.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So I'm going to make all of the tags with the... So when everybody has a few shoes, you actually know. Yeah. I completely forgotten as well, so there you go.
But that is also kind of a signature. I mean, you were showing me the other samples that I think we reviewed in one of the other videos.
Yes,
with the
tassels, the dragon tail tassels. Yeah, so that's a dragon tail tassel in suede for you, just to remind you.
And here's the match.
When you get a bit old and you think, what on earth's in that shoe bag? I can't really remember. I think that's brown suede. Gorgeous. So again, cut with and it's interesting about, you know, this will just settle down the nap, but it's just very fresh at the moment, so it's very strong, the contrast that you get between running it back and running it forward.
Yeah. Well,
and just the beach shoe trees.
Yeah, these again, you know, you have made, of course, fully lasted.
Yeah, so there's the toe.
I mean,
look how pointed
looking
that
at
toe
this,
is compared
I
to
would
that.
never.
You couldn't imagine that those are the two, could you? Well, that's one of the things that you need to think about as a shoemaker. I mean, if you're looking at a last like that, that shape is never going to be the shape at the end of the
I mean,
toe.
if I saw that on a last, I'd say I wouldn't like
you
that.
don't like you wouldn't like a pointed toe like that. But when I made that last, and I can remember you said to me actually, why did you change the toe shape?
Yeah.
And I said to you back, well, I haven't actually changed the toe shape. Yeah. This is actually going to be the same Kirby Negroni toe that we had on before, but it's just it looks very different when you actually see it on a last.
So before we try these out, I mean, anything else you just kind of want to point out in terms of, I mean, of course, it's a proper bespoke shoe, so it's hand welted, hand sewn sole. I mean, everything about this shoe is handmade except, just the
just
stitching
the
on
machine
the upper.
stitching on the upper is the only thing that's not handmade, really.
It's beautiful. I mean, this comes up nicely, and you're taking that, I mean, the welt runs all the way through up to the heel.
Yes.
Right, and then it's a special stitching that you use in order to...
Yeah, so that's blind stitching there, so you can't actually see. So and then the sole is rolled up over the welt here. So the
that's
welt
what allows
just
you to make it...
Yeah, allows you to clip the waist in and make the whole waist slim and actually give you the support through here. Yeah. So the other thing I did is I put a long to inside stiffener in here.
I can feel
because
that.
I know you like a bit of arch support running through to the joint. So that's going to give you an arch support by clipping the last and having a long stiffener in there. That gives you an arch support through there.
And that's one of the other characteristics of a bespoke shoe is that you're able to work much more structure into it than what you would have in a traditional ready-to-wear.
Yeah.
And even some bespoke makers. I mean, every bespoke maker has a little bit of a different approach towards
the way they stiffen them inside.
So some bespoke shoes are much more structured than other bespoke shoes, and it kind of comes down to house style and just general approach.
And this is really a slightly more soft, relaxed. This is a real weekend shoe. This is the shoe that you're going to put on.
So would
at
you
the
make it
weekend
slightly stiffer in a black?
I'd probably make it in black. It would be if it was a black formal shoe. Maybe the stiffness would be a bit firmer. It would be a slightly stiffer thing.
Okay.
Whereas this has got the leather makes them a more of a a relaxed sort of weekend style.
Well, I'm really excited to have this.
Beech trees.
This is my third semi-brogue. The first would have been the Dimitri Gomez, the black ones we had made. The second pair would be the light brown I had from Foster & Sons, which was a smooth calfskin. And this is my first suede.
Yeah.
So this is actually the first suede bespoke shoe. I have it all. Right. So let's try it on.
Let's try it on, yes. Yes, indeed. What knots have we got on down here,
So
Kirby?
this is the Parisian knot. These are some cleverly Russian reindeer shoes.
Yeah, they're lovely, aren't they? Really nice. One of your favourites, these, aren't they?
I don't have very many casual shoes, and so, this, the Foster's, and now yours will be my 3 go-to shoes for what I'm wearing.
Right. Yes, and this colour goes really well with the suit and the trousers, doesn't it?
Well,
and the socks, really.
I would be lying if I didn't say I dressed this morning with the shoes in mind.
Exactly. I'm sure we can see that. How does that feel, Kirby?
Oh, fantastic. I mean, I love the closeness of a good bespoke shoe. I mean,
it's really, look, boosh, that's where you actually pull into the shoe.
Yeah, I mean, I've told this story, but I love telling it. Whenever I was at Camps de Lucca in Paris, in the dressing room trying on some trousers, and I put my shoes back on, and there was a swoosh. And Julian from outside the dressing room said, the sound of a bespoke pair of shoes. I thought that was beautiful.
Exactly. Because we're actually cutting this line much tighter than you normally see on ready-to-wear shoes. So you actually have to pull the joint of your wider part of your foot down through a narrower part, and that's what really pulls those together.
I mean, there's no extra space, so
there's no space. So
gosh,
there's nothing really. There's no extra room through there. So your foot is actually sitting all the way on the joint here and on top there. So there's actually no extra room.
Yeah. So what adjustments did we make from the last pair? Do we have? Why don't we grab? Do we have the other pair?
Yeah.
They're just right here.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I think it's, such a great kind of testimony to a great bespoke shoemaker. I mean, is being able to make those adjustments and continue to refine, the shape of the last. And, you know, it's an art more than
It's
it
an
is
art
a science.
form as well, and as we know, it is a process,
Yeah.
and it's about a relationship, and it's about getting to know a client's foot and the way they like. You like to wear your shoes quite snug.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Many other clients may not like to wear
Yeah.
those. They say, Dominic, that's a bit too tight for me. Can
Yeah.
you just ease it off a bit?
Yeah.
So it's about actually getting to
Yeah.
know the client, building a relationship with the and building some trust
Yeah.
between the two. And that's that's the bespoke, as we said before, that's
Yeah.
the bespoke process.
Well, that's where the chemistry really matters, I think,
And
also.
that's-
But you know, it's so important to have a bespoke maker that will actually, you know, stand behind the product, and if they have to, you know, scrap the shoes and remake them to do that, because, you know, I mean, I've known a lot of people that have had bespoke shoes made, and it's not always the case. You know, sometimes you have to wrangle a little bit in order to get a remake.
Well, the thing is, there should be no question about
Yeah.
that. That's just part of the process. And actually, you know, if you're a bespoke maker, my investment is in you as a client.
Yeah.
You know, and you just have to say, actually, if these are for the bin, you've got to be big enough to say, actually,
Yeah.
they don't look as good as I'd want to see them look. Never mind anybody else. So they just have
well,
to
you've got
go.
the toughest eye, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's the
I
that's the
can,
real. So
yeah.
this is, I mean, we've same toe.
Yep, exactly
Every-
the same toe. In a way, you can. It's reasonably reasonable. There's some volume. There's volume taken out of here, so this bit part of the shoe has actually dropped down. Some width has been taken out of the sides. Do you remember it was a bit roomy on the
Yeah.
sides here? And there's been some real clip putting at the back, so it's really holding you through the back
But
of
I
the
think
shoe.
it's a
So
great
those are the
illustration of
things
you
that
know
we
how
do.
a bespoke shoe should fit, and of course it's subjective to a certain degree, like you just said. But you know, again, not having a ton of room here is going to help control creasing.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
The shoe, whenever you stand up, is going to lie flat and pull tight.
Exactly.
Which is
So-
going to really showcase the beautiful silhouette of the last and of the upper.
And the thing is, it's also to actually make it, you know, it makes your feet look quite slim and elegant. You know, and that's one thing that it's actually designed to do. The whole thing about bespoke is to make things look slim and elegant.
Yeah.
So that's the way you want to work as a bespoke shoemaker. So if you look
And
at
it's
this
more
inside
support.
line here, there's more support. So by actually cutting it in, cutting the last underneath your arch here, you get this really nice line that you can see on the inside of your foot where it sweeps in.
I love that.
By sweeping the heel, and you just look at that line in there, you don't see that on a ready-to-wear shoe.
Well, that is one of the elements of sculpture of a beautiful bespoke shoe,
Yeah.
a pair of shoes I really love. And I'll often catch myself whenever I'm sitting, just kind of looking at this angle right there,
Yeah.
and just kind of rolling the shoe, because you can see how, you know, the sole, the outsole disappears underneath the arch of the shoe.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, that, you know, that precision and those tolerances, and really the sculpture and the craftsmanship that you just never find on an ordinary pair of shoes.
Exactly. That's the
And you know, I mean, just again, like looking at it from this angle, I mean, look at the shape here with the heel and how that just comes in is absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna stand up and
Put these down.
yeah, I mean, these fit. I mean, these are as good as they get.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
and
you
again,
get that
you know,
ever
whenever
so,
you
it throws that ever so slight crease across there, and then as soon as you put your weight down again, it just flattens out, and there's nothing there at all. So it just
and
shows
a
really
lot of creasing
fine
is,
crease.
a lot of creasing is caused by shoes that have too much volume.
Yeah, there's just too much volume in it. Yeah, so really, that's what we wanted to see, and that's probably what we weren't really seeing on the black one. Is that as soon as that disappears completely,
And it's a beautiful, beautiful shape. I love the toe.
and the colour's nice. Yeah, so that's the Negroni toe,
we
the
go.
Kirby Negroni toe.
I mean,
Done
it's
again
a beautiful
in a
round. I
suede.
mean, it's a nice. I mean, it's round without being, you know, old-fashioned or.
Yeah, I think it's a very
blunt.
modern look
Yeah.
for a round toe.
Yeah.
A very modern look.
And it's a beautiful suede. So you were saying earlier, this is like a kind of
It's
a very fine.
It's
suede.
a very fine suede. So if you feel the nap, and if you actually just look at the nap, it's really fine. You know, so it's a really soft suede. So it's really designed to be really soft and flexible. So once the trees go in, it'll keep its shape. So the trees will keep the shape of the shoe, but it gives you a chance to wear something which is soft and a bit more relaxed than a heavy calf skin.
Do you have
shoe.
the suede brush? Let's just brush them so we can see.
Yeah.
Did you put it in your pocket?
I didn't put it in my pocket. I wasn't going to pinch it. Honestly, Mr. Allison, I wasn't going to steal you. So again, as we said, it's designed to brush up in that direction. So if you want to clean it, it's going to brush up that way.
And do you recommend
very-
Scotch guarding them?
yes, I would definitely Scotch guard them, and I'm sure that's something that you can do. But you see, that gives it a very fine suede look when it's brushed up that way. And gradually the nap will just settle down a bit more.
That's gorgeous. Well, you've outdone yourself. Yes. I mean, this is
fun.
Really beautiful.
Well, to be honest, it's just really nice to actually see you wearing something that I'm happy with and that you're happy with.
Well,
because
I'm thrilled. And and again, also, I mean, you're quite rare, in the shoemaking world in that, you're doing the last making, the pattern making, the clicking, the closing, which is where you sew the pattern pieces together, and then the actual bottom making where you last it over. Yeah. And it is.
Well, if there's anything wrong with them, it's down to me. There's nobody else going to be, having to put it right.
Well, so but it's rare to find shoemakers that have mastered all three of those skills and can really pull them all together. Yeah. And it's kind of like in, watchmaking, where all the, fine watchmaking houses now are doing their in-house movements. Yeah. And it's a sign of a finer timepiece. Yeah. And so it's going to be special for me to wear these shoes, knowing that, you did the entire lot and we've got it all on video.
Exactly.
I mean, whenever we were in Brighton, filming you taking my measurements, it was frigid.
Exactly,
it was,
with my jumper on.
Yes, with your jumper.
Cold. Yes, because you were so cold.
Oh gosh, I thought my feet were going to fall off that day. And that day, I truly understood the meaning of bitter cold.
You're welcome to the seaside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was cold.
And then we had our fittings in London. At the 2018 World Championship of Shoemaking. It wasn't a fitting, but you brought up the last, and we saw the last, and then we had the fitting, the next time I was in London. So
we've gone through the whole process.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I can't tell you how happy I am. Thanks again,
Dominic.
It's
been a pleasure.
Yeah, and so, you're doing a little bit more traveling now. I mean, you were telling me that, of course, you're accessible to anyone that's in London. Yeah. You're just a short train trip up, and you have a beautiful showroom that we filmed in also there that you can meet customers in. But you were saying that you were starting to travel a little bit more often to New York?
Yes, so my intention is to start travelling to New York regularly from next spring, March time, and I'm going to come every 3 months, every 12 weeks.
Okay.
So the way the business will work is that all of the dates will be up on the website, so that people
This is DominicCasey.com?
Yeah, DominicCasey.com.
And then your Instagram is Left-Handed Shoemaker?
No, it's Dominic Casey Shoemaker.
Okay. Did you change that?
I did, yes. So, Dominic Casey Shoemaker now for the Instagram. So, if I come every 3 months, as you know, it's all about service and meeting with clients regularly. So it just gives me a chance to stay in touch.
Well, and it allows someone to get a shoe faster because you have to have those fittings. And so, a bespoke shoe, really the first bespoke shoe, you need to have 2 or 3 touch points. Yeah, exactly. And so if you're only coming to New York twice a year, or if your shoemaker is only traveling through town twice a year, gosh, it can take a year and a half.
I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. Yeah. As a person working on my own, running my own business, I just wouldn't feel comfortable with that. Yeah. So people can look on the website. If they order a pair of shoes, they know that in 12 weeks' time I'm going to be back for the fitting. And then the aim will be to ship the shoes to them before I come back in the next 12 weeks, so they have a chance to wear them for a month before I come back, and then we can take a look and see how they're wearing in.
That's great.
So that's what I intend to do.
Well, that's exciting, Dominic. Well, best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you, around, and of course, seeing you again soon.
Great. Thank you.
In today's video, I'm wearing a bespoke Chris Despis, a tan suit, single-breasted, with tab trousers, and a new Kirby Allison Sovereign Grade Macclesfield tie, a beautiful silk print. What I love about our Sovereign Grade ties is not only do they have a great hand, but they also tie just a beautiful knot with a perfect dimple. I'm wearing a blue Seamino Godard pocket square, tan Sovereign Grade small dot melange dress socks, and of course, my brand new pair of bespoke Dominic Casey brown semi-brogues. My watch is a Chopard perpetual calendar with a retrograde date and a tan lizard strap from Jean Rousseau.